What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're walking into this structure here, seeing what the boys did today. It looks like walls are going in. This is awesome. Ceiling's going in. Getting closer. I watched the Federal Reserve yesterday. They had this nomination hearing for Jay Powell, which is Jay Powell. We just call him Jay Powell. Okay, so Jay Powell is getting renominated for the chair of the Federal Reserve. He's essentially the president of the Federal Reserve. Let's just call it what it is. He's the real president of the United States, arguably the global economy, because he is the guy that controls the dollar. And so anyway, our loving representatives were up there on Capitol Hill asking him a bunch of questions at the Senate hearing, which is only 100 people. You know, the Senate is a small group of people, 2 from each state. You got 100. And they asked him about climate change. One guy asked him why there's not enough Hispanics on the board. There's no representation of Hispanics and Latinos on the board of the Federal Reserve. And then mostly climate change questions like, hey man, so what is the Federal Reserve doing about climate change? They're a bank. They're not doing anything about it. Well, we don't think that funding should be available for oil and gas, other things like that. No, okay, yeah, we can make sure that that's not available. Like, what happens to oil and gas prices? They go up. Not a single loving representative, not a single representative, because you don't have a representative government if you haven't figured that out, asked, hey bro, inflation's at 7%. You said 2%, which is insane. Imagine me going out and saying like, guys, I can assure you, I'm going to try to destroy your purchasing power by 2% a year. It's good, actually. You'd be like, bro, get the frick out of here. But the Federal Reserve says, hey, we're going to do it at 2%. And everyone's like, oh, okay, all right, yeah, that's okay. It's at 7%, according to the way they record it now. According to the way they used to record it back in the 80s, it's at like 17%, it's 15 to 17%. According to stuff I buy, like wood, metal, machinery lifts, real estate, fuel, oil filters, air filters, those things, everything's up 30% on me, if not higher. I mean, some things are up double on me. So I saw 30 to 100% fiat inflation. Not a single representative in our government asked him, what is up with the inflation? And what are you doing to fix it? How did you mess up this bad? And the truth of it is, this is the game plan. They're going to inflate, they're going to inflate, they are going to inflate. And if they break it, if they break the back of the social order, you will have this wealth gap between the rich and the poor that is so crazy that you're walking into French Revolution-like territory. And I think that that's what we're seeing in Pakistan right now. And so it's concerning. And, so like, what are the positives of this? Silver is falling. Gold is falling. You can buy equities in those two items, gold miners, silver miners. I'll have other videos on why you would want to do this, but essentially the price of gold goes up 50%, let's just say, theoretically. The price of a gold mining company might go up 700%. It's a leveraged play on gold. The short of it is their cost of production doesn't change a whole lot, but the price may go up. So it's just straight profits. So it's discounted profits and revenues and basically, and then on top of that, you might get a bubble. You know, it might become like a Tesla. Like, you know, when these baby boomers start to panic and their financial advisors are like, oh, maybe dollar cost averaging into the index is a bad idea. Because really the only companies that are up are like Facebook, Twitter, Apple, Google. I mean, the rest of the companies are pretty much in a bear market at this point in time, but the stock market keeps pumping higher because of those big dogs. And so, so you can get into the things that are non-debt assets. So basically bet against the debt, take physical possession of those things. If you want more movement, not just the price of silver going up and retaining your purchasing power, maybe you buy some miners, but that brings with it business risk. You can buy oil. Like, you can literally buy like Exxon stock. It's paying like a 5% dividend right now. It's going up. I wish I'd backed the truck up on it. I was waiting for a dip. I still am. I bought some in the $35, $34 range. Then it was like at 59. I was like, I need to buy some. It ripped to like 72 on me the last 2 weeks. So I'm like, see if there's a pullback. But you can go there because it's like, yeah, you're 7% inflation. At least my dividend is keeping up at 5 or 6 or 7%. So I'm kind of keeping up, but then if the price of oil goes up, theoretically the price of that company is going up. So at least I've got some purchasing power protection there. Basically what I'm saying is you've got to get into assets that go up with inflation, and you got to bet against the debt, and you got to understand that one day this whole entire thing is coming down. There is no soft landing here. It is just, is it a currency collapse? Is it an economic collapse? Is it a social unrest collapse? Is it all three? I mean, this is not going to be a 2008 scenario. I don't think it's happening anytime soon. I know a lot of people are like, stock market's going to crash. And it's like, stock market's never done better, man. The stock market is a derivative of the debt market. Stock market means nothing. It's a derivative, meaning it's a representation of the debt market. The debt market has never been better. Interest rates go lower and lower, debt market loves it. When the interest rates go up, that's when it starts to get gnarly. Can they raise the interest rates? Nope, they can't, because the biggest debtor in the world is the US government. If they raise the interest rates, the US government can't service the interest on the debt as it is now. And then also, who would buy a 10-year government bond? Who would buy the old government bonds? So essentially right now you can buy a government bond for like 1.5% interest, which is BS, because they're telling you that they're going to destroy the currency by 2% guaranteed, but it's actually 7%, but it's more than that. But nonetheless, who would buy a government bond? The old school bonds, when that bond is, let's say 2 years from now, if new bonds go up to 5 or 6 or 10% interest. Why would, you wouldn't. No, those old bonds would be useless. Those old bonds pay 2% interest. Like, why wouldn't I just buy a new bond at 10% interest? So no one would buy the bonds is what I'm getting at. So your government couldn't roll over its debt, which means your government couldn't pay its employees, or at least it would have to pick which employees to pay. It couldn't pay Social Security. It couldn't pay your military. It couldn't pay a lot of things. And this is what's going to happen. Like, eventually there's just going to be an epic default. They can do it honestly by just defaulting and saying, we're not paying the debt. Nope, we're not paying it. Be a little crash for sure. Or they can do it dishonestly and just inflate the money and just print the debt, just print what they need to pay the debt. The problem is they can't raise the interest rates. So they are in a position where you could see, I don't want to say hyperinflation, because that gives people mental images of like wheelbarrows going down like Weimar Germany, but we're on the exact same chart as Weimar Germany. Look at Weimar Germany in 1921, 1922, and then 1923. We are lined up perfect with it. Best economy in the world, best stock market in the world, best currency in the world. 1922, German mark. 1923, hyperinflation. Happened like that. We're on that, we're similar. We got some time, but if they, we'll find out. My point is that bet against it, prepare for the worst, hope for the best. Don't really worry about it. Don't get scared about it. Take advantage of when things get gnarly, and maintain a positive mindset on everything you're doing. Don't take in garbage news. It's all propaganda anyway. I mean, you literally live at a time where the guy that created the medical thing is the guy talking about the medical thing, but he funded the medical thing. All right, like, you live at a time of like the utmost corruption. Like, every single thing in government, in the public sector, is corrupt at all levels, and it's probably not going to last forever. But it's going to last probably longer than we all want it to last. But when it grows, when it breaks, it's going to suck. So anyway, guys, thank you for the likes. Thank you for the comments below. Thank you for subscribing. If this is your first time on the channel, I would love to see you come back. So hit that subscribe bell. And until next video, I'll see you later.